Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing today? How are you guys doing, man? This wonderful holiday season. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everyone who's celebrating. Hope you guys have a great holiday season. Hey, this is Gregory Wiles coming live to you from Houston, Texas with his inspirational morning talk. For first time listeners, I'm on at 8:45 a.m. That's Central Time. That's our time here in Texas. And you can calculate which time zone you're in. But today, man, that cold storm that is most over most of the country is here visiting my little city of Houston, Texas, and right now we're at 17 degrees outside there. 17 degrees. You went as low as I think 15 or 16 overnight, so we're currently at 17. The rest of the week is going to be just as cold. So today we're not coming out of freezing, which is a rare thing in here in Houston, where we all day stay on the freezing mark. But today is one of those days. But yes, so we can just bundle up today and stay in, and we're not used to all of this cold weather. Good thing in my area we didn't have no rain, so there shouldn't be any problems with ice out there. So that's all good. But anyhow, man, today I'd said that I'd wrapped up the whole series on the end of year fast on my last talk. But I said if I was led to do anything else on that, I will do it. And yes, I was led to do something else. I heard this message. I was reminded of this message last night and said, this is what I wanted to do. I had a nice little holiday cheer stuff to do. Like I said, we do some little motivation, holiday cheer stuff going to the Christmas. But he determined that this is more important for me to share this information today. And it's a little bit of concern in the fast. So, I got to do what the boss wants. So, so what I want to talk about to remind people that fasting is a spiritual principle. Fasting is a spiritual principle, right? I mean, when it's a principle, it can work for good or evil. It can work for both good or evil, right? It's a principle. It's just like the internet, the principle that caused the internet to work, right? I showed the people when I heard first that they was promoting this whole internet in the mid 90s or wherever the internet come about. They were talking about all the good things. Good morning, Jillian. Good morning. How are you doing, Big Sis? They were talking about all the good things about what the internet is going to do. But because it's a principle, now you can use the internet and post anything, good or bad, right? Good or bad, you could put on the internet. I sure they did not predict all of this wickedness that was going on the internet, all this child trafficking, all of these, anybody who could go on there and do anything. Like they say, you could go on the internet and learn to do anything. Anyhow, but that principle that caused the internet to work, it wouldn't stop somebody who's trying to do something bad and put it up there. Just like it wouldn't stop somebody good doing it. So fasting is like that. It is a spiritual principle that can work for good and evil. So I want to point out here in the Bible a fast that was for the demonic means, right? Because I don't want people to look and just think, oh, fasting and everything. Every fast is to the God of Isaac, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. I don't want people to think every fast is to him, and every time you hear the word fast, it's used for good means. So that was important, and I was glad to point this out, right? So first I want to go back to this story. I'm not going to read it, but I'll give you the scripture. You could read it. It's the one I'm going to read if you is Mark 9:14 through 29. Mark 9:14 through 29. Read it from the King James Version. This story is also found in all three of those Gospels, Mark, Matthew, and Luke. But really, you can read it from Mark 9:14 through 29 from the King James Version. This is the story when the guy brought his son to the disciples because he had this evil spirit, a deaf and dumb spirit on him. Some translations say a lunatic spirit. And they brought it to him, or no, the lunatic spirit is a different one, but this is the deaf and dumb spirit. They brought him to the disciples. However, the disciples couldn't cast the spirit out. They were, casting out the demons out, but for some reason they couldn't cast this spirit out. So the father brought his son to Jesus, right? He brought his son to Jesus. Said, man, Jesus, got this spirit affecting my son. And your disciples couldn't do it. So I brought him to you. Please help us. Long story short, Jesus cast the demon out of the boy. And then the disciples were confused. They said, man, we got the power to do other stuff. We healing, we casting out demons. What's so special about this particular one that we couldn't do it? So they called Jesus aside and said, man, Jesus, what's going on here, man? You're holding back on us. Why we couldn't do this? And this is when he went on to tell them, he talked about a little bit of faith and all that, but then he said, this kind will only come out through prayer and fasting, right? And remember, they did not fast. Remember, them Pharisees and stuff was asking them, Jesus, why your disciples are not fasting? And the disciples of John the Baptist and all these other people was fasting. Why your disciples was not fasting? He tell them, they don't need to fast while I'm here. I'm the power behind fasting. So they don't need to fast while I'm here. It's when he uses the stuff about the bridegroom. They don't need to, fast. The bridegroom is here, but one day the bridegroom is going to be taken away, and then they must fast. So he telling them, when I leave here, these guys can got to fast, right? But right now they don't need to fast. Remember, they did not went on a fast, but Jesus went on his 40-day fast. So he had the necessary power to cast out anyone, those demons. But the thing is, we said this kind, right? This kind. I mean, they have some evil that we're dealing with is more powerful than some. So the ones that them guys could have cast out, the regular power what they had could have cast it out. But then they got a different level that need additional help to get rid of. And that's what Jesus was saying. This kind, what this guy had here, your regular praying, you can't do it. You have to add fasting to your praying to get rid of it. I just remind you of that because the story where we're going to, I want the foundation so you can see, right? So the story we want to go to today to look at this fast in the Bible that was done for demonic means and not for good means, right? It is in 1 Kings. 1 Kings 21. We can read some from 1 Kings 21. This is the story of Ahab and Jezebel. Ahab and Jezebel, right? Ahab was a wicked king. His father, I think Omri, was a wicked king. They said the most wicked king the most wicked king. He had more wickedness before all the other kings before him. No, Ahab is his son. More wicked than his father. I mean, when they said doing evil in the sight of the Lord, it just means the following other gods. And modern day time, that's what we call in the Caribbean, obeah, voodoo, witchcraft, all that. That's what they're doing in a nutshell. They're not following the real God. They're following other gods doing all this stuff. So Ahab was wicked. Then he go and married Jezebel, who was from these people who worship other gods too, right? I think the Sidonians. And yeah, we could go back and look at the whole story. But I can pick it up from here when Ahab, they want this guy's vineyard. Remember, so he caused all of Israel, because Ahab was the king of Israel at the time, and he caused all of Israel to worship these other gods, torn away from the real God, right? So I can pick it up from here, and I want to point out this fast in here that was done for demonic means by Queen Jezebel. All right, so this is for 1 Kings 21. I can start from verse 1. Sometime later, there was an incident involving a vineyard belonging to Naboth the Jezreelite. The vineyard was in Jezreel, close to the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. Ahab said to Naboth, "Let me have your vineyard to use for a vegetable garden, since it is close to my palace. In exchange, I'll give you a better vineyard, or if you prefer, I will pay you whatever it is worth." So this piece of land next to the palace, King Ahab saying, man, this could make a nice little herb garden for me. He asked the man, hey, would you mind selling me this vineyard? I can give you a better piece of land, man. I need this land just because it's close to my palace, so I could do my little garden right here. But I'll give you a better. If you want, I can pay you whatever you want for it, right? And that's what's going on there. But Naboth replied, "The Lord forbid I should give you the inheritance of my ancestors." Back in the days, remember, the ancestors get the portion of land it passed down. They don't really sell those land that was allotted to their ancestors. That was an heirloom. And the man said, man, the Lord forbid me to do this. This was a specific piece of the land my ancestors got. So I got to keep it in the family. It's not mine to sell. So this we saying, the Lord forbid that I should give you the inheritance of my ancestors. So Ahab went home sullen and angry because Naboth the Jezreelite had said, I will not give you the inheritance of my ancestors. He laid on his bed sulking and refused to eat. So he gone home pouting, he upset, he mad. This man wouldn't sell him this piece of land, right? His wife Jezebel came in and asked him, why are you so sullen? Why won't you eat? Why you sulking? Why you not eating? Right? He answered her, because I said to Naboth the Jezreelite, sell me your vineyard, or if you prefer, I will give you another vineyard in its place. But he said, I will not give you my vineyard. Jezebel, his wife, said, is this how you act as king over Israel? Just like, what? This man tell you he ain't giving you his piece of land? That's how you act as the king. You are the king. You sulking and getting upset and eating because somebody tell you that they can't give you the land. You are the king. What are you doing? This is how you trying to rule these people? You are the king. Right? So that's what she's telling him in other words. Get up and eat. Cheer up. I will give you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. She's saying, get up and cheer up, man. Let me show you how to do this thing. You're the king and you can't use your power. Let me show you how to do it. You go and eat. You don't worry about it. I got it from here. Guys, and if you ever heard the term a Jezebel spirit, this is where it comes from. Now, where's where it come from? It named after this queen in the Bible here because she's the one who possesses it. Jezebel spirit is a controlling, manipulative spirit. It like to control people and manipulate people. So anyone possessing that now, in real life now, they term it as the Jezebel spirit. They just name it after her because she's the one who made this spirit famous. She's the one who really demonstrated how this spirit operates. So people just name it after her in the Bible. It's not like the spirit name is Jezebel. It's just a controlling spirit, a person who's love to control and manipulate people. And that's why they give it the term the Jezebel spirit, right? Just name it after her because she's the one who demonstrates how this spirit operates, okay? So she wrote letters. So she tell him, you get up and eat. I got this. I got this. All right? You can get a vineyard. I'll get it for you. But let's see how she get it for him. So she wrote letters in Ahab's name. Remember, he's the king. She still need him. He's the king. She wrote letters in Ahab's name, placed his seal on them, and sent it to the elders and the nobles who live in Naboth's city with him. In those letters she wrote. So she get this right. She's writing on behalf of the king to all these officials who live in this man's city, live in the city where this man live. Just sign it off like it's the king, Ahab, who writing it, right? Manipulate. That's what I'll tell you, the spirit, Jezebel spirit is a manipulative spirit. It's like to manipulate things. Proclaim, Joseph writing these letters to these elders. Proclaim a day of fasting and set Naboth in a prominent place among the people. But seat 2 scoundrels opposite him and have them bring charges that he has cursed both God and the king. Then take him out and stone him to death. So she's saying, proclaim a fast. She tell these people, y'all go on fast. And why I remember about the Matthew story, about the boy with the spirit, what Jesus said, this kind could only come out by prayer and fasting. Because this kind, the control that she need, the powers that she need to control these people, to do what she asking them to do, she need a fast to get the extra power. Remember, fasting is a spiritual principle. You getting extra spiritual backup. Whether to do good. In this case, she using summoning and she praying and fasting to the devil. You remember, the devil is a copy. He just look at all the stuff that God do, and he look at the ones that are principles, and he can use to do his wickedness also. So this principle can work just like the internet for good or bad. So he tell all his demonic people, y'all need extra spiritual backup and power. There's a protocol to get it. You proclaim a fast to me, and it works on the demonic side too. So that's what she did. She tell these people, hey, y'all go on a fast because we need this extra spiritual backup because I need to manipulate a bunch of people here. First, I need to, it's like she bewitching them. She putting a spell on them with this fast, what she's doing, right? In other words. So she tell them, I'll call a fast, set Naboth in a prominent position. We got this prominent, wherever they're going to organize and set up, and Naboth can be like the guest of honor. right? But then you're gonna get two wicked men. A scoundrel is a wicked person, who gonna, do and do lies and do that kind of stuff. So it's to get two men to lie on him and said he cursed both God and the king. So he said, put him in this prominent position. We can make him the guest of honor. Then we can got two men to lie on him. But she needed extra spiritual backup to convince these people to do all of this. Remember, these grown men know that they're setting up a man here to die, but they ain't got they ain't got the strength, or what's the word I'm looking for, the guts to say no. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to kill an innocent man. But you see, she this fast, she bewitched them with the extra spiritual powers, right? So here what to do. So they tell him, do this. And then when they bring charge, they found him guilty, stone him to death. Okay, remember, her goal is to get this man's property to give it to her husband, the king. Right? So the elders and nobles who live in Naboth's city did as Jezebel directed in the letters she had written to them. They proclaimed a fast and seated Naboth in a prominent place among the people. Then two scoundrels came and sat opposite him and brought charges against Naboth before the people, saying, Naboth cursed both God and the king. You see exactly what she told them to do, proclaim this fast and do it. Exactly, they do exactly what she said in these letters. They did exactly what she said, right? So they took him outside. So Naboth said, curse God and both the king. So they took him outside the city and stoned him to death. Then they sent word to Jezebel, Naboth has been stoned to death. So they did exactly what she do. God, she bewitched them through this fast. Yeah, that's extra spiritual backup. This kind that she want. The kind of demon that she need to do this help to bewitch all of these people. It had to come through a fasting. Her regular little voodoo witchcraft portion would not have worked. She need more powerful spirits to convince all of these guys to do exactly what she wanted to do, right? So that's why Jesus was telling this guy, these kind here is power, is prayer and fasting, right? So she's saying, this kind of spirit I need here to convince all these grown men to do what I want to do to control them, I need some extras. My little regular portion not going to work. I got to fast to get the extra backup I need, right? Showing how to work on the other side too, right? So as soon as Jezebel heard that Naboth has been stoned to death, she said to Ahab, get up and take possession of the vineyard of Naboth. She got to her king. Let me show you how to do this stuff now. Stop crying and sulking. I can take care of this. I can get the vineyard for you. So now she got it for him. As soon as Jezebel heard that Naboth has been stoned to death, she said to Ahab, get up and take possession of the vineyard of Naboth, the Jezreelite, that he had refused to sell you. He is no longer alive, but dead. When Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, he got up and went down to take possession of Naboth's vineyard. Now, which man, his wife tell him, you go and sleep, bro. Eat and sleep. I got this. I'll take care of this. Then she come back and said, hey, the vineyard is yours. The vineyard the man refused to sell you is yours. Take it. Go on with it. He ain't even asked, how you do it? What happened? He ain't questioning. He just gladly, yes, and go down and take possession of it because he is under that same power too. You hear about the Jezebel and the Ahab spirit. It kind of go together. Jezebel and Ahab. Where there's a Jezebel, there's an Ahab. Because Jezebel got to control somebody. And normally in the workplaces and stuff too, you're going to find, you want to know they got a person, most likely a female, and then she's controlling the boss. You can't understand this. That person might be very low position, but they control the boss. They got the boss wrapped up. Anything they tell the boss, that you can't understand it. Why this girl got the boss control him like this? He gonna do everything. I work in situations like this before I had this type of knowledge, so now I understand clearly what's going on. You're assuming all kind of things, right? But they got this control. So where there's a Jezebel and you have an Ahab, where Ahab, they talk about Jezebel and Ahab spirits, that's where it come from, right? So, but anyhow, the point I want to point out, he didn't even question this stuff. Isn't that strange? Your wife come back and tell you, oh, the land we got is dead, the man is dead, you can have the land. Then she tell you she gonna take care of it. You don't even ask how this happened, how will I get the land? No, he calmly like a little puppy, gone, oh thank you, and he gone and take position and plant his little herb or whatever he want to plant on this land, right? So the thing is, like I'm saying, I had a nice little holiday cheer stuff planned for today, but God put it on my heart. This is what he wanted me to talk about. So he's saying the question is, why we as Christians are not using this principle that he laid out so he can help us. We are just laying, while the demonic people use this principle to do their wickedness, and we're not using this principle to get his help to do the things we want to do. It's like the internet, right? People not, it's just like, just using an example, like the internet is there, you can use it to do all of this good stuff, but we're not using it to do the good stuff, but we're just allowing the people who do the bad stuff to use it. And we're not, and it's available to us. It's made for us to do good things, but it's being bombarded and it's being dominated by a lot of evil, wicked, slanderous stuff. It's something like that. So God's saying, rise up, man. Rise up and use it. Use it the way it should be used for good. Get me involved. Let me come in here now and march this enemy who is chaining us and holding us back from doing the things we want to do. Use this protocol so I could come and crush him, because he's the one who holding us back from doing a lot of things, right? So use this protocol here for good. Get me involved, right? Don't have the people on the demonic side using it to do their wickedness. You use get me now so I can counteract all the wickedness what they're doing and stop it, right? So I guess that's what he put in my heart to tell people, man, this principle is here for us. This is a God principle, but because the principle is going to work, you can use it too, right? So guys, so that's what I was led to do today, man. But I just want to remind you, part of what I was going to talk about, don't eat and drink too much, right? Remember those moderation. You know, it's Christmas time. Remember the moderation, man, right? You can have a drink. Don't worry, people, Christians can have a drink. But the moderation, drunkenness, getting drunk is the sin, right? Remember we talk about eating all your favorite foods, but eating too much. Gluttony is also a sin. So let's just remember that as we go into the holidays, man. And I hope this little thing here on the fast, for the people who was on the, you know, maybe some people still deciding if they're going to do it or not. I hope this convinced them to do it now and just get the help you need for the new year, set the new year straight. All right. So guys, who hearing this for the first time, I did a lot about fasting, the end of the year fast. You could go back and look at the videos that I did. I upload everything to YouTube also. Just look Gregory Wilds and you can pull up the channel and you can go and get caught up if you're hearing this for the first time. All right, guys, so I'm going to leave that there. Have a Merry Christmas, guys, and we'll talk again after the holiday, maybe on Monday, so I can hear all the good food that you guys had and everything. All right, have a Merry Christmas. Goodbye.